Ever wondered what a cat's dream day looks like? Well, meet Galaxy, a fluffy ball of cuteness who takes her daily me time very seriously. From basking in the sun to pouncing on imaginary prey and even running her own mini spa session, Galaxy's got it all figured out. Trust me, you'll want to stick around to see her perfect routine. On a warm, sunny afternoon, Galaxy the cat, a fluffy gray and white furball with big, dreamy eyes, was basking in her favorite spot by the window. She stretched her little paws, turning over to let the sun hit just the right spot on her belly. You could say Galaxy was on her sun vacation, right there in the middle of the living room. With her eyes half closed, she was purring softly, practically melting into the warmth. Suddenly, she spotted a tiny dust particle floating in the air. Intrigued, she slowly lifted a paw and started batting at it, her claws out just a little bit. But the dust was floating too high, so she lazily plopped back down, clearly thinking, nah, not worth it. But a few minutes later, Galaxy perked up. Playtime mode had been activated. She leaped off her sunlit spot and dashed across the room, her tail like a fluffy exclamation point. She pounced on her favorite toy, a little stuffed fish, and wrestled with it, kicking it with her back paws like she was training for the Kitty Olympics. Galaxy then gave her toy a good sniff and proudly paraded around with it in her mouth like she'd just caught a real fish. Finally, it was time for Galaxy's special spa session. She sat down all proper and started grooming herself. With a dainty lick of her paw, she wiped her little face, then switched to licking her back. Galaxy was like, "I'm not just any cat, I'm a sophisticated lady." She went through her routine, carefully licking each paw, her sides, and of course, her fluffy tail. The whole time, she looked super focused, as if she was saying, "This is hard work, but someone's got to keep me fabulous." After her thorough bath, Galaxy gave herself one last big stretch and flopped over on her side. She was back in her sunspot, looking totally content and ready for another nap. And just like that, Galaxy's day was complete. She'd basked, she'd played, she'd cleaned herself up, and now she was ready to drift off into a catnap, probably dreaming of catching even bigger dust particles. Just as Galaxy was about to drift into her catnap, she heard a strange sound, a soft chirp-chirp from outside the window. Her eyes popped open, and her ears perked up like little radar dishes. It was a bird, perched on a branch just outside, totally unaware that it was being watched by the fiercest and fluffiest predator around. Galaxy crouched down, her eyes locked on the bird. She wiggled her bottom, calculating the perfect pounce distance, even though there was a window in the way. In her mind, she was totally going to catch that bird. With a dramatic leap, she launched herself right into the glass. Thud. She blinked, a little dazed, but quickly brushed it off like, "I meant to do that." Of course, the bird didn't even notice and flew away, leaving Galaxy to pretend she hadn't just had an awkward moment with the window. Feeling slightly embarrassed but determined not to lose her cool, Galaxy strolled over to her water bowl. She took a sip, then decided it was time for her second spa session. But this time, she wanted to change things up. She dipped her paw in the water and then tried to lick it off, creating her own little water mess. It was her version of a cat water fountain, and she was totally into it. After her refreshing drink, Galaxy suddenly felt the Zoomies coming on. Her eyes got wide, and before anyone could react, she was tearing through the house at lightning speed, bouncing off the walls, darting under the table, and sliding across the floor like a tiny, furry tornado. At one point, she even tried to run up the wall, pure Spider-Cat mode. Finally, after her grand Zoomie performance, Galaxy skidded to a stop, panting a bit, looking around like, "Did you guys see that?" She sat down, trying to catch her breath, her tail flicking with pride. Then she gave herself one last lick on her paw, as if to say, "Yep, still fabulous." Just when it seemed like Galaxy was all tuckered out, she climbed back onto the windowsill, plopped down, and curled up in her sunspot again, purring softly. This time, nothing would disturb her nap. She closed her eyes and drifted off, her paws twitching a little as she dreamed, maybe of catching that bird, zooming through the house, or her next spa adventure. And thus, the wild and wonderful day of Galaxy, the cat came to a close filled with sunshine, mischief, and a little extra glamour, just the way she liked it.